Once upon a time, it is said that during the Neolithic period of China, the Empress of the East, Shi, was taking a stroll when she came across a mulberry tree. As her servants prepared the bench, the Empress took a seat underneath the mulberry tree. Her servant then brought her a cup of tea for her to sip. As the Empress starts to sip on her tea, she noticed something falls into her cup. It was a silkworm cocoon, something the Empress had never seen before. When the queen unraveled the silkworm cocoon, she had noticed shimmering threads floating within her cup. Her persistence and curiosity led to her acquiring a grove of mulberry and domesticating the silkworm. There is no concrete evidence of who created the silk loom, but Shi coined the name the goddess of silk and the silkworm mother over the last 4,700 years. After the initial birth of silk, the silk industry still continues to thrive within China and all across the world today.
The invention of silk had a significant impact on history, both in China and the rest of the world. Here are 5 major ways it impacted the world.
Number 1, economic impact. The production and trade of silk became an important industry in ancient China, contributing to the country's economy and helping establish trade routes across Asia and Europe. Silk was highly valued and sought after, making it a valuable product in international trade. This impact was extremely significant in the empire China is today.
Silk became a symbol of wealth and luxury in ancient China and was reserved for the ruling class. It was used to create clothing, furniture, and other items that demonstrated social status. The production and use of silk became an important part of Chinese culture and was admired and imitated by other civilizations. The symbol of silk still stands a very important inside China's culture, where even thousands of years after the first trendy silk item, is still used as traditional wear and is worn always to special occasions such as weddings, Chinese New Year, birthdays, and festivals. Usually worn in the style of a qipao, a long, modest dress with a slit at the side for the leg for easy movement.
Technological impact is the invention of silk production techniques, such as spinning and weaving, paved the way for other textile industries to grow and develop exponentially. The development of tools and machinery for silk productions also contribute to the growth of manufacturing and industry in China, which helped them in trading routes.
The Silk Road was a vast network of trade routes that connected China to the Mediterranean. It allowed the trade of silk and other goods across continents. This facilitated cultural exchange and the spread of ideas and technologies throughout Asia and Europe. The Silk Road is a major contributor to the development of modern China today.
The Chinese government tightly controlled the production and trade of silk, making it illegal to export silkworms or silk from the country. This helped to maintain China's economic power and influence in the region for many centuries.
In summary, the invention of silk had a profound impact on history, contributing to the growth of the Chinese economy, influencing culture, technology, facilitating trade and exchange, and helping to shape political power in the region.
China probably wouldn't be a world superpower today without the help of the beloved fabric. The legacy of silk continues to be felt today, with the production and trade of silk remaining an important industry in many parts of the world.
The chemical structure of silk.
Silk is mostly made of 22 different amino acids. The chemical structure for the amino acid has an amino group of NH2 and an organic acid group of COOH.
The 3 most common amino acids in silk that make up a whopping 85% of silk's overall structure are glycine, alanine, and serine. Because these acids are so small, they make the biggest factor into making silk so smooth.
Silk is primarily composed of two types of proteins, fibrin and sericin. Fibrin makes up the bulk of the silk fiber, providing its strength and toughness, while sericin acts like a glue-like substance, holding the fibers together.
These amino acids are arranged in a specific zigzag pattern that creates a crystalline structure within the silk fiber. It is insoluble in water and most organic solvents. The specific sequence and arrangement of amino acids in fibrin is what gives silk its unique properties of.
Sericin, on the other hand, is a water-soluble glycoprotein that contains high amounts of serine, aspartic acid, and glutamic acid. Sericin acts as a protective coating around the fibers and helps to hold them together, making silk fibers stronger and less easily to break.
In terms of physical properties, silk fibers are strong, lightweight, and have excellent tensile strength. They're also highly flexible and can be stretched up to 30% of their original length without breaking.
Overall, the combination of fibrin and sericin proteins, along with other molecules, gives silk its unique and valuable properties, making silk one of the most highly prized natural fibers in the world.
We just bought this piece of silk. Let's see if it's actually real or not.
Yeah.
It's burning.
Which means
This is not real silk.
They lie.
Even centuries after its invention, silk was still very high in demand in lots of countries, and the process of making silk felt like it had to be innovated to the maximum. This was until the 1870s when Hilary de Chardin, while enjoying his hobby of photography, he discovered a spilled solution of collodion. It was a sticky substance, and he was able to pull out long strands of it. He thought it resembled silk. This reminded Chardin of something he had seen as a student.
At this time, there was also a silkworm blight, causing problems for the French silk industry. With all these factors combined, he decided he would make his own silk. With his research, he tried forcing collodion solution through a very tiny set of holes. This is how he became the first man to make artificial fabric.
After mastering the process of making Chardonnay silk, started manufacturing in 1891. It was a very revolutionary product, being very similar to actual silk, except for one complication. While silk is flame resistant, Chardonnay silk was extremely flammable. This, along with other disasters at the Chardonnay factory, led to the closure and temporary pause on Chardonnay silk.
This did not stop Chardin from trying again. However, he had reevaluating the entire process of making Chardonnay silk. Later, in 1901, another method of silk was being developed by two men in England named viscose, by Charles Gross and Edward Bevan. They forced viscose liquid into a spinneret, then into an acid bath. This process began to be manufactured in 1910 and continues to be in use today. Nylon is a type of polyamide, which means that it is composed of repeating units of imides that are held together by chemical linkages. This structure is similar to that of silk, which contains imide linkages.
Nylon was initially developed by corroders, who used two different monomer units to create the polymer chain. One of the monomer units contained two acid groups, while the other contained two amine groups. These monomer units alternated in the chain to form the nylon polymer.
Adipic acids, which is commonly used in the production of nylon, contains acid groups, COOH, at both ends. This property is useful in the synthesis of nylon as it allows the formation of strong chemical bonds between the monomer units and the polymer chain. The chemical formula of nylon is C6H11NON. Cut.